One, two, three. We are live, everyone. We are live. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Griot Theater Company's production of The Hero and Her. We're going to let some people get into this live stream. Welcome to the live stream. Before we get started, I see people entering in. Welcome into the Griot Theater Company's production of The Hero and Her. We're going to get started shortly. We're going to let some more people get on in. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Leave your name, leave a thought, a comment in the chat if you would like. Send me a text if you have my number. Send me an email if you have that. I would love to hear from you. Hey. Welcome, 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 everyone. Good evening, good evening, good evening, everyone. We're going to get started in a little bit. We're going to do a little pre-show talk with Amber before we push our YouTube out. I'm so thankful that you all came and joined us here at the Griot Theater Company. Stay tuned, stay with us. We will be right back. Amber is here. Yes, she is. Welcome, Amber. Welcome, Amber. Can't wait to see you. Shantiana, hello, hello, hello. We are live, Amber.
Hello, family. Walking in looking rough. Happy Monday. Hi, Scholar.
We are live, Amber.
Oh, you could turn that off.
Can I get you some tea?
Walking in looking rough. Got my water, so I'm okay. Thank you.
I'm in the shop with you?
Yes. Pull up something. Sit with me. We're going to talk to the people. And let's see. Shantiana, hello. If you're in the building, leave a comment so we can know who all is here with us. Happy to see all of you. I am Miss Amber Allen Pearson. I'm sure they know you, but you can say your name again.
LaShawn again.
And
yeah, we want to first just jump online. You know, we created some space to jump online just to talk about process for a second, and just to talk about the amazing work that you're going to be seeing tonight. And then we'll let you know about the film and where we're at with the film and some exciting news. I take it as exciting news moving forward.
I want to, before we get started, really give some attention to LaShawn and just really, really focus on what it means to create a nonprofit, to direct a play, to work with youth and educate them and inspire them to be a part of theater and acting, to bring Black word like your James Baldwin play and Here with Maya Angelou. I just want to make sure that before we get started that we are all acknowledging and focusing on the great work that you are doing. And I also just want to say how honored I am to have been invited to be a part of it, not only because of the role I played and how much fun, but just to be your witness. I just want to start there. And before we get started on anything, let's learn a little bit about what community, the dog toy, the squeaking in the background, about what community theater looks like. Tell us a little bit about what the process was for you in creating the Griot Theater Company in the first place.
So the idea of like true community theater, you think about, for me, I think about community, right? And, you know, the thing that comes up to me is the Shakespeare quote about the whole world is a stage and, you know, we're all actors on it. Because we have a lot of artists and talented storytellers within our community. And it was really, really important for me to, and as we're moving Griot along, to really uproot those storytellers and those stories, you know. The Griot Theater Company, we're interested in working with known actors, but at our core and at our heart, we're really interested in working with community, with people who dare to dream with us, with people who want to create with us, and people who are here rooted within our community, who are not going to be here for months and leave, but people who are going to grow with us, and people who are going to like really teach me as a young person, as a young artist, how to navigate. You sound like my students.
I'm just kidding.
My middle school students remind me every day how old I am. But just, you know, just really working with community and really, really incorporating all of our voices. I think that's like one of the biggest points of this story and of our storytelling.
Can you tell us a little bit about how you got started and what inspired you to get involved with theater?
Theater. I feel like I've been acting all my life. Like the earliest days was church plays, you know, a place to go at during church. And I was in the choir, but I couldn't sing. I did praise dance a little bit, but I couldn't dance. Right. But acting was the first place where I felt like I could do something in church. So it started off at church, church plays, Christmas plays, Easter plays, revivals. That moved to start doing theater at school. I remember my earliest play, so much rhythm. It was Mother Goose is on a loose. This was like in like second grade. And so for me, growing up, I just was able to I was going to use the verb escape, but I guess for me, it was to find safety. I was able to places around where I was at was not always safe. Home, neighborhood, school. I didn't always feel safe. So theater gave me a chance to not put on masks, but to really like unpack all the identities and all the thoughts that I have within me. And how can I explore this world through different characters, right? The research of finding out what a character is and who a character, like where they're from, that was really important to me, because it goes back to dreaming. It just gave me a safe place to really dream and to explore realities outside of mine.
Thank you.
Welcome.
How do you incorporate what you just said, the part where you are studying and researching a character and researching a word? How do you bring that to the work that you do with the youth in Griot?
Well, I think most of it, I'm thinking back at what we do and how we do it. Most of it starts with the youth. I'm thinking about, namely, specifically our Queen of Cubs that we did a reading for this summer, and we're going to be doing August 17th through August 12th. Thank you. April 27th.
Starts with an A.
Starts with an A. April 27th through April 30th, Queen of Cubs. We're remounting that show.
Sorry.
But that whole show started off with the conversation that happened in the classroom. And it was me overhearing what the students were talking about and me going back. They inspired me. They were my teachers. And I went back and did more research on what they were talking about and brought them more findings, what drove them to want to go do more research. And so I think that just entering all of this with inquiry, and it's not just like for me where I'm coming at, like where I'm questioning with the pieces and the thoughts. It's like what the community is. That's why on this piece, and people will learn more about it, but it was important for me to bring on you because I had questions, right, in my own skin and my own identities, but it was really important that I brought somebody a little bit closer to Maya and their story, and to uproot her story, to really shed light and point me in directions that I wouldn't dare to go.
Well, I appreciate that, and I appreciate the opportunity. I have a few more questions. Before I do, I want to shout out everybody who's shouting out the chat. Hello, Maurice. Hello, Stephanie, Samantha, Lisa, Shantiana. It's great to see all of you here tonight. Thank you for joining us. And those that haven't chimed into the chat, go ahead and say a happy hello so we know you're here. Keeping it centered in community. Tell me about what some of the challenges are about community theater. What are some of the hardest pieces and hardest parts of it?
Believe it or not, this community is really active. It's really active. And what I mean by active is that there's so many things to do. In theater, it requires talent, time, tenacity, all these T's, right, that we hope to give our youth. And it really, and this is what I'm working on as an artist, and I'm just being true where I'm at right now. I'm trying to as I'm writing plays and directing plays, I'm figuring out more ways to connect to family and to connect to what families prioritize, because that will make our work stronger, make our work more meaningful, and it will also really help out with the connective piece, right? The piece of that we do theater, right? Like, this is what theater looks like. One of our big things is we're partnering with TAM, with CTE, Conservatory Theater Ensemble, and they have an expectation that their ninth graders come to school with the understanding of how to do an 8-week rehearsal process, right? And what does that mean to show up 4 days a week for 8 weeks to produce a show? And that's something that I'm really learning to do with Griot. So this year we've adopted our thought process, our theory this year. And for every show that we're doing, based on the kid's grade, we're going to ask them to do that many weeks of rehearsal. So if a student is in 6 weeks, that student will do 6 weeks of rehearsal. If a student is in seventh grade, we're going to ask them to do 7 weeks of rehearsal. 8th grade, 8 weeks of rehearsal, because we understand that that's the goal, is 8 weeks. But how do we scaffold and get our students to understand how to get there and to believe that they can get there? And so we're looking at things like that to really show our students, what does it take to be in a rehearsal room? What do you do in a rehearsal room when you have so many priorities pulling you out of that room, right? I remember when I was young and learning theater and, challenges at home. School was not the best for me. I was like a 2.3 high school student. I still was able to do theater because I had a 2.0. So I was like still fighting to do theater. And I just had to like really learn how to be present in that moment with that community and with all these things that were taking me, not trying, these things were ripping me out of my rehearsal process and taking me out of my rehearsal process. But again, like I said, when I found theater to be that safe space, it was easier for me to be in that space. So how do we get our young people into that space and understanding that space? Did I answer that question?
You did. I think that, so let me just make sure. What I heard was that the biggest challenge is that you want to make this more than just a play. This isn't about a single production. This is about developing these youth to not only love theater, but to have the stamina for the expectation that is going to be waiting for them in the high school that they're mostly going to transfer.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I appreciate that. I think you're doing it. I think of our ambassador. I don't know if she's watching in, but Samil. I think about the work that I'm watching her put in up at TAM and the love that I see her pouring into the work. So I think you're doing a good job.
Thank you. Thank you. I just, centering the youth really quickly before I turn to you and pivot to you, because I will. But I think, I just want to say thank you to all the youth a part of Griot Theater Company. Everyone who spent a day, a year, the 2 years we've been alive, right? Just thank you for every youth who came to see one of our shows, to just approach a cast member or approach me to talk about the work. I just really want to say thank you to the youth out there for believing in Griot, because ultimately this company is theirs. These stories that we're salvaging, these stories that we're holding on to are for them. They're for us too, right? I don't want to minimize what we're getting from it, but ultimately we're responsible to give it to them to hold so they can give it to the next generation.
Okay.
So I just want to say thank you to all my young people who's been rocking with Griot, wearing a Griot shirt, coming out to the auditions, coming out to the rehearsal processes. Thank you so much for all your hard work, and I love y'all. Samil, I'm just gonna name a couple. I'm not gonna name you all, but I'm gonna name my Griot ambassadors out there. Griot ambassadors are high school students who have internships. They're in paid internships with Griot. So we have Samil is one of our high school students. Samil is rocking it with the website. Samil is rocking it with our Griot gear. Samil keeps me on track at what I'm doing with deadlines and things. So thank you, Samil. I want to say thank you to one of our other seniors, Natalie Nong. Every image that you've seen with Griot, every image goes to Natalie. Every image goes to Natalie. Natalie wrote this, just FYI, a little history about this, right? Natalie did this design for me. And it didn't say Griot because we weren't the Griot Theater Company, but Natalie did this design for me. She's a senior now, when she was in 8th grade. So like 4 or 5 years ago, right? Natalie's been rocking with me for a while before Griot. So I just want to say, Natalie, thank you.
She's here.
Oh, I love you, Natalie. Please go check out her artwork, y'all. Please go check out our artwork. Someone else, one of our third griot ambassadors, and she is phenomenal. She's working really hard. Antanasia Cook, you're going to see her today as well. And you will see Samil, the powerful Samil. Let me not backtrack with the powerful Samil. But Antanasia she has really stepped up. She's a sophomore, really stepped up. She just loves to work and she understands what it takes, you know. I am so thrilled to be working with Anthanasia for the next 2 years to see what we develop. You know, we just named our next high school show. So stay tuned for that. I know what the show is. And I can't wait to bring more high schoolers on that journey. We do have one other griot ambassador that just started. Just want to give a shout out to my brother Cameron McDonald. Cameron is a poet, a senior right now, working on an amazing book of poems. Spending time with me, we spend time reading poems, evaluating poems, analyzing poems, his poems, my poems, published poems. But I'm really enjoying our time, Cameron. So thank you so much for being a part of griot. And then there's tons of middle schoolers and other high school students. I just want to say thank y'all.
Mm-hmm. So I have some more questions, but before I get to them, I want to say we have a few more people who have joined in. Thank you for joining Natalie, Jerry and Laurel, Meg Real or Mega Real Diva.
Mega Real Diva.
Sandcastle Theater Company, and of course, Natalie. We love you and we're happy you're here. So what kind of support do you need? What kind of support can we give you? Can the community give to make sure that griot grows, to make sure that griot continues to be here, like you said, for the youth and for the next youth and for the next youth? What kind of support do you need?
Thank you for that question. Thank you. Thank you for that question, because when you're not asked a question, it's sort of hard to formulate the thought, right? So thank you. Sort of put on the spot. Ultimately, I mean, you know, just as an umbrella statement, just ultimately just grow with us, right? Mm-hmm. And when I say grow with us, doesn't mean to come watch us grow, but come grow with us, plant soil with us, be our sun, be our water, spend time with us, sing to us. We know that singing to trees, it actually helps trees grow better. So come and sing with us. Sing with us. If you can sing to a tree and make a tree stronger, you can sing to a young person and make them stronger, right? So like first and foremost, like, you know, we need people who just want to grow with us. Mm-hmm. People who are people who believe in what we're doing, people who understand what we're doing. And if they don't understand what they're doing, they have an open heart to understand what we're doing, mm-hmm. right? That's like the biggest thing, right? Is to be with us, right? This is year 2. Year 2 looks different than year 1, which will look way different than year 3, because I'm, you know, in the process of planning year 3 right now. But ultimately, you know, grow with us. At first, I was bashful to say this, you know, as a second thing, and
I'm gonna say it for you.
But it has to be said, right? Because this is not what we're griot. We believe, this is one of my thoughts, is that I truly believe, and I push it. I really beg of our board, and you know, they understand, they believe it, they back it. But griot, we believe that theater should be free and accessible to everyone. We just think that theater should be free, right? But on the other end, we also believe that our artists should be paid. Mm-hmm. So everyone that works with us from high school on, they're paid. Everyone, our griot ambassadors, you know, our high schoolers, they get 10 to 15 hours a week working with us. And when they're a senior, we just started a work exchange program where we give them a stipend to do work for us, and they get to do work for their own artistry. So, you know, like Cameron, he's working on a book right now, on a poetry book, but he's also helping us with griot in the back end. Natalie, she's doing all of our images and all of our graphics and more, right? And she's also working on her own illustrations. Samil has been one of the leaders of Griot, and she also gets time from Griot to work on her art. Last year, she got a chance to work with an actor in LA that we paid for, um, a woman of color, Charlotte Williams, who led our acting class, where she learned how to do resumes and she learned how to do commercials, right? Because we really believe in, if people are helping us, we want to help them. Our adult actors, we compensate and we pay for them because we believe that, they're giving out their talent and time. So like that's number two, right? Is to, in order to really make this nonprofit run, or to really to look to get sustainability, we have to be real and we have to ask for what we need. And something that we need to do to honor our high schoolers and to honor our adults, is financial support. Right? I just think about me in high school. When I was in high school, just going back to my high school experience, I was doing theater for the 4 days a week. And I also had a job at like Food Max. It was Food Max, Food for Less. It switched names. But I remember how hard it was and how many plays I had to turn down because I had to work, at my household, I had to work.
Well, and speaking of which, as you are starting this nonprofit, writing these plays, coordinating the community, directing it, getting the tech up, getting, the actors in place, working with me to pull the poems, you are also working at least 2 jobs that I know of. So it's another thing to be noted. This isn't, you're talking about yourself in high school.
Yeah.
I just want to remind you what you're going through right now.
Thank you. It's a piece. I mean, I see it as, I understand what God is doing. I know the sacrifice. I know the storm. I know where we're going. Like I said, February last year looks way different than February this year. The support,
Praise the growth.
the people who are here and calling me and texting me, that works too. But the reason why I bring up my high school experience is because that's where like things start to shift for people. That high school age is when people start to have to get jobs, and they like reality starts to come at them real fast. Adulthood starts to come at them real fast. And what Griot, I think, hopes to be is to help students in high school so that they don't have to turn around and just get a job just to get a job, that they can get a job that's aligned for their future, that they can work for a company that believes in them and knows them past an employee identification number, right? We know our students. We eat with our students. We do things with our students. We know our students. Our students call us. Our students call us out, right? We like I have students who really like say, LeSean, the cast ain't really liking this right now, because we want to empower our young people to really have that voice. If they go work somewhere else, they may not get that chance to get that voice. So, but thank you for the other.
Yeah. Yes. Speaking of tech, why don't we give an update on where we are right now? And give a sense of the process of what it was for us to create this particular play.
Cool. So to shift from a theater company to a film company in like the matter of minutes is like the hardest thing you can do. I just want to just put that out there.
And that's because of COVID. COVID did that?
It's because of COVID, but we understood also that we wanted to have one show. We want to have one show that we can actually really amplify those voices out there into the greater world, right? We have people in here who are out of the state right now, out of the country right now, and they wouldn't be able to be a part of the show if it was, at a location. So we want to do, every year we're going to do our February show online, and I think that every year, again, it just keeps getting better. We keep getting better. Last year we did James Baldwin, and
it's amazing.
Thank you. And the show was great, right? The young people loved it. The young people came out during their Christmas break to really put together that show, and the young people were like energized and they loved it. The community loved it. Over 400 views the first night. So that show was really, really important. this year, with the whole year under our belts, I was able to look at this oratorical in a deeper way, right? I was really able to look at the themes and the topics that Maya Angelou uprooted in her text, some of the things we're going to talk about in a moment. And I just was able, especially with the partner, I was able to go a little deeper this year because my eyes didn't necessarily have to zoom in on the text. Like they did, right? I did. I'll get some other books. I did read most of these books, right? Letter to My Daughter. We're doing a poem from there. All God's Children Need Traveling Shoes. Mother, Cradle to Holder. Mom, Me and Mom. And Gather Together in My Name. Right, so I did read this text, last text here. Amazing text, just real quick. We're going to talk about this in a little bit. Maya Angelou made a cookbook. If you don't know, Maya Angelou made a cookbook. I was able to host some people over a few nights ago. You'll see that in the footage, where we cooked some of these recipes. And so she wrote a book, and she tells stories about where she gets these recipes from and the people who inspired her to cook. So I was able to go deep, right? But I didn't have to. Last year with the James Baldwin, I felt like I was writing, I was reading, I was curating, because that's a whole nother thing. When we start talking about the heroine's journey and talking about how we put things together this year, I wouldn't have been able to do any of that, by myself, with the directing and organizing. And so, each year I just feel like we're getting a little stronger. We're figuring out what we need a little bit more and more. And I think this year, and what they're going to see tonight is, once we introduce what we're actually doing in a moment, after I get some questions from you.
Not too many.
Yeah, a couple. Is that, I feel like we are, as a theater company, we're learning. We're learning. We're learning how to do things stronger, how to tell stories clearer, how to understand better, how to believe bolder, right? We're just learning. We're learning.
I'm growing. Good. Okay.
So you,
That's
Miss
me.
Amber Ellen Pearson, my mentor, my sister, my big sister, my friend. I just want to say thank you so much for being on this journey with me. Everybody, please clap it up for Amber.
It has been such a privilege, truly.
Thank you, Amber. Thank you. Thank you. I think the privilege is really mine, just FYI, but I won't take it from you. Talk to us about your journey here. What's going on?
Well, I mean, I know some of this is in what we are going to show, but for those who are here now, I guess to say that I guess it was about a year ago when LeSean first asked me if I would participate in this. And I was like, I don't know what that is. I don't know what a curator is. I don't know what that entails, but I've got so much going on. I can't do it. There's a tendency in me to kind of start with doubt when I'm asked to do things, and then to overprove myself. It's a bad character habit. But I was resistant. I was afraid of disappointing LeSean, of not getting it right. And he was like, we're just going to read poems. What do you mean? Like, that's what we're going to do. And I was like, really? That's all we're going to do? And of course, that's not all he did. He took the poems that we read and the conversations that we had, and he pulled from them and created what you're going to see tonight. But what was wonderful about it was we'd be reading a poem, and then we'd be having a conversation about it. And I didn't even understand that what was happening is that I was curating, that's what it looks like, is looking at a poem and having a feeling about it, or having an experience with it, or sharing what it meant to me, or where it was landing in my personal life. And when we very first got started, I remember wanting us to evaluate and to look at and explore Maya through her relationship with her mother. that we were talking about wanting to look at some of the angles that are less explored, even though the majority of Maya's books are written with titles about motherhood and about her relationship to her mother, and there are a lot of poems about her mother. A lot of the time what you hear from Maya is "And Still I Rise" or "I Know Why the Cage Bird Sings," which are both phenomenal, or "Phenomenal Woman." That's what I meant. And both are phenomenal and wonderful poems, and I'm glad they exist. But we wanted to explore some of the other angles. And I think part of that was just because of where I was in my own life. I didn't know that reading that and having that conversation was what it meant to curate a poem and pull it out. After exploring that as kind of an initial place to start, LaShawn was the one who brought to me the idea of looking at this play through. Is it okay for me to share all this now?
Yeah, share it.
Okay. Through the heroine's journey, and initially looking at the hero's journey, which is, what is it, 12-point literary focus in terms of the arc of a male identifying person and their journey in life. And the heroine's journey is 10 steps, which really the hero's journey is the first 3 steps of the heroine's journey, but in the rest of it, the last 7 steps are considered to be steps that only a woman can go through. And so bringing the heroine's journey to me gave me a completely different way to explore Maya. Because I was already reading, I was already devouring, I was already enjoying what I was reading, but being given a context to evaluate it from, how does this poem fit into this step, into this place of the heroine's journey? Where in the journey is this poem? Became like fitting puzzle pieces together. It was delightful. And the rest was history. It's been a delight then, like I said, just to kind of come together, see what, particularly the youth. There's some voices in here. There's some singing in here that I can't wait for all of you to hear. But since then, it's been about just kind of witnessing what LaShawn extracted from that and what the community put together. Hello, Ellie. Hello, Cynthia.
Hello. Thank you. Thank you for that. Thank you for that journey. Talk to us about, because one thing I remember was when I brought you when I said, Amber, let's do this, and you gave me one stipulation. You were like, I want to do it, but I don't want us to focus on the poems that Maya, that everyone knows, right?
Mm-hmm.
That Still I Rise and the Phenomenal Woman. You said, I want to explore texts that people don't really have access to or don't really know. Talk to us about that journey for you.
I wish I could remember, and you might know which poem it was. When I very first sat down with you, I had 3 pieces. And one of them, you probably have the notes, huh? Mm-hmm. One of them, I remember, it wasn't just the mother, it was actually the motherland that I was thinking about. And we were talking about what it means, the fact that, like, as women in our wombs, we are carrying the memory of our mothers and our mothers' mothers. And we were talking about the legacy of trauma that comes with being ripped from our land, the legacy of trauma that comes from slavery and from having our bodies used so badly and having our children taken from us. And then we were talking about, in a finite way, Maya herself and her relationship to her mother, and the story of her mother and her father's separation, and her brother having to go and live with her grandmother. And then we were talking about the harm that came to her and the rape that happened, which kept her silent. And there'll definitely be more about that throughout the film. But we were talking about how much that, in addition to the trauma that is carried in our wombs and in our cells and in our bodies from all of this historic trauma that we experience through our ancestors, we also talked about the strain that puts on a mother-daughter relationship when you live in a society where women were so dependent on men for their safety, when women couldn't own homes and women couldn't do things without a man. And for her mother and her father to separate the vulnerability that left her mother in, and this man who was her mother's boyfriend, isn't that right?
Mm-hmm.
Who, yes, I knew that, who caused harm to her, and what strain that might have put, and how they were able to heal from that. That was the story that I found to be more interesting. Is well, not more interesting, but what is the journey of that relationship? Who is her mother? What is it to mother? And particularly because, you know, this is one of the parts that we talked about and explored a lot, is that, you know, when Maya Angelou was raped and the man was sent to jail and released from jail, he came up dead. He was dead. And Maya Angelou did not speak after that for, was it 8 years?
I think some say 7, some say 6, around 6 or 7 years.
And her reasoning for not speaking is because she thought that the words she said had killed this man. And I've heard that story told from the point of view of this poor little girl who got hurt. And I definitely want to acknowledge the harm that caused to her. But at the same time, I also want to pivot and look at it from the other angle, which is she thought she was so powerful in her voice that she killed somebody. So she was quiet to try to minimize the power that she knew of her own voice. And I thought that was extremely powerful. I love the idea that a little girl thinks that she can say a thing and make a thing happen. The power of manifestation. She knew she had it early. And so what is it, though, to be a mother who brings a man into a home? That man causes harm to the daughter who has that much power to herself. So these are the stories. Like I want the interconnection. I want the cells. I want all of that. And she gives it all to us. When you read her work, that she's giving all of that to us. So it's right there for the grabbing. So that's why I picked.
Thank you for that, Amber. Something is coming up for me. I didn't get into now. I didn't get into now. I didn't really. I felt it, and I was like, and I thought about this before, but it never resonated to me. And it's going to be, after I tell a story, it's going to be followed with a question. Some years ago, about 10 years ago, before I moved to Marin City, I wrote a play. Mm-hmm. And I wrote a play, and I was writing a lot of plays, right? Early 20s. I was writing a lot of plays, and there was like a point where I started writing about death a lot. And so I wrote a play. It looked at Elizabeth Kubler-Ross's Death and Dying, the stages of grief. Mm. And it explored this Black boy and Black father who didn't have a good, healthy relationship. And it explored the death of the father and the transition of the father and the forgiveness it took between son and father.
You have to come for me.
No, okay. No, I'm not.
Okay.
But some's coming. No, I'm not. It's gonna be a question though in there, I promise. Okay. But I remember stopped writing because when my dad died, there were so many parallels with the forgiveness that I guess what I was writing on the page and asking the universe for with him. And when he passed away, I didn't see it as this. I was like, I thought I was like more of the cause of him dying. Like I was like, oh my pen. The man in my play died from stage 4 cancer that they found out 3 months before he passed away. This is everything that happened to my dad, right? Stage 4 cancer, this. And so I stopped writing for a while. I stopped writing for a while because I didn't want, it was like a little fear in there. It was some fear in there. But I don't see it. I didn't see it as when I'm just hearing you right now, that actually I was writing on the page and asking the universe for a relationship with my father before he transitioned. And the universe actually gave it to me some years later. But until it was actually put on the paper, that was like my gift. My question for you is, has there been a time in your life when you were afraid of your talents?
My whole life. I mean, to be honest. Before I answer your question, though, since we're talking about fathers and death and grief, I just want to bring in that when you asked me about this a year ago, it was February? No, because it was after James Baldwin. So it must have been early March. And when I said no, it was because my father had just passed away. And I was in the grief cycle, and I was in the how do I honor thy father mode of where you are. So for me, hearing you say that, that's why I was like, are you coming for me? Because that parallel in terms of using these plays or using this expression as a way to kind of channel creativity or expression in the grief has been really, really helpful. But at first I was like, can I do it? Can I do any of this? Grief what is this thing? It's such an alive thing. It's who are you? You are a stranger that it's like I'm carrying grief with me always now. And in the getting to know grief, I didn't know when grief how it was gonna rear its ugly head and what I was gonna be capable of. So that was why I said no at first. But you just bullied me into it anyway. But really though, my whole life I have avoided my own talents. I actually just last week or this week, on what day are we? Monday. So last week I submitted my very first publication. I submitted for my first publication. Thank you. And I've been writing since forever, but really, especially since 2005 is when I got really into it. And I never submitted. I never pushed to be, to make a profession out of the thing that is the most natural to me. Writing is like my first language. Poetry is like my truest form of prayer and expression. And I never pushed it because for two reasons. For one, I was deathly afraid of the rejection of somebody criticizing this thing that meant so much to me. But also, I was afraid of monetizing it. I thought that might take away the healing properties that come along with the writing for me. And I needed them more. I needed them more than I needed the money. I always say that poetry saved my life. And writing saved my life. And I was afraid to try to turn it into a business because I thought that would remove this God-given talent and relationship that I have to writing. And it is just within the last year or so that has changed. And I am adventuring into growing into sharing my work in this bigger way. Thank you. Because it ain't going nowhere. It ain't going nowhere. It's the most consistent part of me. When I look back at all the traumas, all the good, all the bad, any part of me that has ever existed, and the parts that have burned away, the parts that I've lost, the parts that I've grown into, all the parts that are just ever the iterations of me, the one consistency has been my writing. It's the go-to. It's the best boyfriend I've ever had. And it ain't going nowhere. So yes, I've always been afraid.
Thank you. Before I ask you another question, we'll give an update on the film that's loading. Thank you for that writing exercise you gave me yesterday.
I don't remember what I gave you, but you're welcome.
You just gave it to me. I'm not going to read it. It's so personal.
I remember now.
You gave it to me.
Yes.
And we can give it to the world right now. But okay. It was just, and I celebrated, and I talked to Kakaya about it too. I talked to a couple of friends about it too. Just it allowed me to start my day in a way that I needed. I woke up today a little bit less stressed, a little bit more blessed, right? So I just want to say thank you for that writing exercise. That I didn't even take the dog out, and no animal cruelty, y'all. But I decided this morning that I was going to take care of myself first. and do my own meditation, my own mindfulness for a second, and write.
Critical.
And so I just want to say thank you for that.
You're welcome. I got tons more too.
Thank you. I need them. I need them.
Mhm.
I need them. I need them.
When I say it saved my life, I ain't playing.
So Amber,
Mhm.
we can we can do a little updating. You asked me a little earlier about what's the hardest part about film, a part about theater, right? Theater during COVID and YouTube, right? Is having to upload and reload and crashes and all these things, right? That happens.
Tech.
The tech part of it, right? And so, whew. So yeah, so some of the adjustments that we're making tonight, and just to be transparent with the audience, we had our film. We have, I don't want to say had, that's past tense. We have in our hands. We have 71, about 71 different things, segments that we were putting together for this YouTube, and it was a little too long. When we exported it, it was a little too long. So we've decided to do, as a theater company, is we broke it up into 3 different acts. So going back to that original thing about growing with us, I pray that you all will stay with us, because we're going to be, for the next 3 weeks, we're going to launch a act a week. So grow with us and learn with us and be with us. This week in Act 1, we're gonna show Act 1, and then Act 2 next week, and then the following Act 3. We'll put out some information more about it, because we just wanted to give the audience a chance to really have some bite size, some time to think about the material that we're sharing.
Yeah, I'm gonna take it a little bit, and I'm gonna say, because I know that, like, I feel like when you are directing something, and we had a vision for it, which was for it all to be shown tonight, and for the entire thing to be, this would be the release, and then it would be something people could come back, and there were other plans. Technology, God had other plans, but I like it. I think that not only is it like it's been broken down into a series that will allow for everybody to consume it in smaller bites, and also invite other people. There's some people who weren't available tonight to watch and to be a part of this that contacted me, but they'll have the rest of this week to view what we share today before they join next week, just like you would a show on cable TV, something that you're into. So it'll be a 3 or 4 part series. And the other piece that'll be really wonderful is that it'll give you a chance to digest what you're about to see, what you're about to experience, so that we can be in dialogue and you can process all of the amazing talent, ask questions, and invite more people to join. So
thank you.
yeah.
So we're checking on right now to see what's happening with Act 1. Again, like I said, when we tried to put all 3 acts on YouTube, it crashed on us. So we broke it up into 3 segments. So it should be loaded pretty soon now. So please stay with us. And I want to make that call in a moment. But just to talk about Act 1, Act 2, and Act 3, so people can sort of know the overview of what's happening, is Act 1 is really heavily centered in our youth. So let me backtrack really quickly. So I know you talked about the heroine's journey, and you talked about the 10 steps. So that's one thing that we did, is we looked at the 10 steps of the heroine's journey, and we start plugging poems in. And something that we also did was we start to unpack Maya Angelou's life as in that heroine's journey. So what was she doing at the age of 7, 8, 9, and so forth, in a chronological order? And so tonight on Act 1, you're going to see a lot of the youth, right? We're gonna learn about why young Maya. I want to say why she. I wouldn't say lost her voice, but why she chose to not use her voice, right?
Did I spoil it?
No. You're all good. They all know, right? We all did a little research. If not, you can watch it and rewatch it and act surprised. But so we're gonna see that scene. We're gonna see what the people who helped her. We're gonna see some of the challenges she had in high school and some of the opportunities she had in high school, right? Um, so that's all Act 1 is really a deep dive into the young Maya. Act 2, we'll see older Maya. We'll see an older Maya. In Act 2, we'll also be looking at this book, Hallelujah, The Welcome Table, A Lifetime of Memories with Recipes. So this is a good chance for you to go get this book. We'll be putting out the recipes. For Act 3, we'll be cooking three dishes from this. Three dishes, thank you, that we had last week. A potato dish, a twice-baked potato dish, a fried chicken dish that Maya Angelou has that is so good. We might just make some more this week. And then the third thing was those greens. Maya knew how to cook. She wasn't just she wasn't just a poet.
But she wasn't just a poet anyway.
Yes, she wasn't just a poet, a mother, an activist, an artist, a dancer, a singer, a Broadway star. She was a cook. I was going to say she was a cook.
Get it right.
She was a cook. And it was in Act 2, something that they're going to see that I was really excited about was the stories. You know, Maya Angelou is a true griot. She it's not only that she memorized these or she remembers these, how to cook the things. She remembers where and why she learned them, right? She talks about family. She talks about friends. She talks about strangers in this book. And so I just want to say, please, I saw a question, how many acts are y'all showcasing tonight? 1 act tonight. So get this book before next week and you can cook with us. You can cook with us. And then Act 3 looks more, so Act 2 is more of this, and we'll see Maya when her life was booming and banging, right? And then we'll see on Act 3 some of the things that she started to do towards the later years of her life. The stories about love and forgiveness and just family. It goes back to family, like her whole hero's journey. I really see that full circle. It starts with family and the separation of self and family, and coming back all the way around to really this place of forgiveness and love for family.
Do you want to talk about the 4th now?
The what?
The 4th.
The 4th?
April 4th.
Yes. Stay with us on April 4th as well at 6:30. You will be in Louisiana, and I will be here. We're going to figure out a way to live stream together. It may be here, it may be on Instagram, so stay tuned for that. But we're going to give you all a couple of weeks to watch Act 1, 2, and 3. And then we're going to come back and we're going to sing Happy Birthday to Maya on her birthday. So please come back and join us.
I love Aries.
To celebrate Maya Angelou, the Aries. I know nothing about signs, so teach me.
Well, we're both Leos. We love Aries. Aries and Leos get along fire. So Maya would have kicked it with us, and we'd have had a good old time. That's what we know.
So I can't wait to meet her in the next life. Like Amber said, we're gonna be cool. So everybody, we are about to call our filmographer, Mr. Andy, and talk to Andy about the process to see where we're at. Please give us about 3 minutes to check back in. Please go take a bio break. Go eat a piece of your dinner that I know you were cooking. Go hug a loved one. You can send me a text. You can keep commenting in the chat. You can go to the Griot Theater Company's website right now, and you can go and check out our store. We just got a new shipment of shirts in. So please go check it out. Thank you, Miss LaTanya Wiggins here from Marin City, who just started her business, and she really worked with us and the young people on getting us these shirts reprinted. So thank you, Miss LaTanya Wiggins. And yeah, please go check out our website. Go check out our social media. We hope to see you soon. We are back. So here it goes, y'all. So you already know we're doing this show in 3 acts. Act 1 is today. Act 2 is next Monday. And Act 3 will be the following Monday. We'll be uploading our videos on Sunday or even earlier than that, so you won't have to wait next week. We'll still come on if you're available. We'll still come on Facebook Live to say hello to everyone and to talk to y'all about what you thought about Act 1 next week. So yeah, we can't wait to see you. What's going to happen tonight, where we're at right now, is the video. We're not going to allow the video challenges to curve our show. So a gift from me to you. We're going to give you the link to this show. To Act 1. And you'll be able to look at the link yourselves. It will process and be on YouTube in the matter of minutes. That's what YouTube has been telling us. And what we hope that you can do is after you watch the show, if you can go back to our YouTube page and put a little comment. You know, Act 1 is really looking at the young people and they really want to hear from you. They really want to hear from you.
And while you're in there, take a look at last year's Oratorical Fest, which was James Baldwin. If you didn't get a chance, it's beautiful. And it gives a sense of kind of the genius of this person here, along with the youth and honoring of another one of our griots. And also the technology that we have struggled with today. It's hard to balance being an artist, being a director, being a working human, calling in all of the people. So when we talked earlier about what are some of the things that you need to keep this going, this is some of the kind of support that we need, is people coming in with their tech expertise so that it's not us trying to figure it out, us who don't know, so that we can make these events that will keep coming, God willing, smoother. So throw your weight in, give us your support, give the babies your feedback, and check out the link that we are about to put in the chat right now. And be blessed.
Enjoy. Ready?
Let's go.
Here it goes. There is the link, everyone. Please check it out. And please remember to comment, like, and encourage people to watch it. I think it might be on YouTube as well right now. Your video premiere once uploading. Yeah.
And in the meantime, thank you, T. Loveflow. Thank you, Natalie Butler. Thank you, Shaman Rafni. Thank you, Cynthia. Thank you, all of the people. I don't know who's still in the building, but thank you for your patience. Thank you for chiming in and giving us some of your energy. This is a labor of love. This is a love offering to you from the community. And we hope you enjoy.
So we're here. We're going to stick around to make sure that you all are in there successfully into the drive. And you all have access to Act 1. And please let us know. Love you, love you, love you. See you next Monday. Thank you, Stephanie Young. All good. It works. It works.
Stephanie. Thank you. Okay. Yay.
Thank you, T. Love Flow.
Yes.
Thank you, Lisa. Love you, Lisa. Shall we watch it?
I would love to. So I would love to. Yes.
So remember, come back and comment once the actual video is uploaded. Amber is going to be looking at Act 1 because she hasn't seen Act 1 yet, and you've seen pieces of it, and here you go. Should we keep it on live so they can see your reactions? What do you want?
I don't know. How do we do that?
I don't know either.
We need help. We need help. I mean, people do this. Like, it's people who, like, all of them are like the videos where they're watching somebody watch something.
Mhm.
So yeah, let's see.
Let's do it.
So okay.
We'll put it on mute so we don't distract you all from watching the show.
Okay. For the 12 of you remaining, this is how we know of us. And we truly appreciate your patience as we try to figure this out. These links and how much footage has been recorded are proving to be much more difficult to download and to get to you. We see in the comments that the access codes are not working because it's still downloading. On our end, it is showing that it's going to take another hour before YouTube will have it. But we have it in the meantime. It's on our screen. And so what we were thinking of doing, and we want you to be really, really creative with us, is just for those of you who have stayed with us loyally through this evening, is to move to Zoom so that we can share the screen and just show you what we have for you so far. So we're going to put a link in the chat and move over to Zoom for those who are interested. That way we can use the computer and we know what we're doing and we're working with it. In the meantime, the link will be ready on YouTube in an hour and a half. So if you want to come back, it will be there and you can still comment and watch it on your own time. You can watch it tomorrow or throughout this week. But we're hoping that you are willing to see us over at Zoom at the link that is in the chat so that you can join us and we can show you this film that y'all been waiting for all night.
All night. Thank you. So we have people already jumping onto Zoom.
Thank you, Lisa.
And you can, hey, Lisa, you can interface with us on Zoom. You can talk to us on Zoom as well.
Yeah, we would love to join us. We'll make it community.
Yeah, see people jumping onto Zoom.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Please come.
You, Lisa. Who else is this thing? Thank you, Mommy. It's Bonnie. Thank you, Betsy. Thank you, iPhone user. Thank you, Cynthia.
Thank you, iPhone user. Thank you, Cynthia. Thank you, iPhone user. Thank you, Cynthia. Thank you, iPhone user. Thank you, Cynthia.
We're going to jump off of YouTube Live. Again, join us in the Zoom room. Or please come back within an hour. Like Amber said, it's fluctuating between an hour and an hour plus. But right now, we're in Zoom right now having a private screening, a special screening of The Hero and Her, a celebration of Maya Angelou. Thank you, all those people who have stayed. And thank you for those people who have come who could not stay. We honor you too, and we are grateful for your time. Here we go. Y'all ready? So we're going to get off of YouTube.
Yep.
Bye, YouTube. Love you.